Good morning. On behalf of the E-Services Payment Technology team, welcome to Lessons in EMS Leadership. My name is Gary Harbat, and I'll be the moderator for today's session. Joining me today is Bob McCaughan. Bob has been a longtime friend and colleague and has a long career in this industry, which began back in 1972. In 1972, Bob was a firefighter in Monroeville 4 Fire Department, and believe it or not, I got to know Bob a couple years later, back in 1974, when he was one of the first paramedics to be hired by the municipality of Penn Hills, again in 1974. And then a short time later, I believe it was 74, 75, Bob went to the city. 75, went to the city as a field supervisor, worked up through the ranks and served as chief of the city's Bureau of Emergency Medical Services from 2004 to 2012. Mm-hmm. Good. And then moved on later on to, he was recruited for as the first vice president of Prehospital services, for Highmark, a position that he held till his retirement in 2021. So Bob, welcome. Glad to have you today.
Thanks, Gary.
As along the way, I'm sure you've got lots of stories. And I think all of us here today could probably sit and tell war stories till probably 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. But that's not what we're here for. We surely wanted to pick your brain a little bit and learn more about your leadership over the years. And you've done some incredible things. Last night I was looking through everybody's resume and I thought, this McCaughan guy's done pretty well along the way. So, but Bob, let me just ask you, if we've got lots of young leaders coming into the world of EMS. Some are very well prepared, some may not be. So if, or may not be as well as one would hope them to be in this day and age. So might I ask, is there a single leadership lesson? If somebody was to ask you right now to help guide them, to give them a roadmap, to get them through challenging times, and these are challenging times in many industries, but in EMS in particular, to help them through.
Sure. So I think one of the things I learned along the way, and I think one of the most important things, was to be a good listener. When I started out in my career, I think I wanted to talk more than listen, which was, in hindsight, pretty arrogant of me. But along the way, I like to think I did learn to listen more, which, you gather the information you need, you analyze it, you talk to others before you make a decision. And I think the larger part of that also is having a collaborative style of leadership. Like I said about listening, since you don't have all the answers, I think that from a collaborative standpoint, when you gather a team that you can rely on, people who understand you and each other, the same people that know what you're thinking before you know what you're thinking, and I think it just provides for a very, very healthy leadership team, and I think that transcends down to the field itself, whatever service you might be managing. But I had the great opportunity to build a collaborative team through collaboration with these individuals. In the city of Pittsburgh was Mark Boshin, Bob Farrow, Ron Romano, Jim Holman, and Dr. Ron Roth. And I think the essence of our team was trust, honesty, being direct and candid with each other, but above all else being respectful. And I think our success in doing that really transcended down to the field. Because, like I said, you don't have all the answers. And I would also strongly encourage new leaders to ask their subordinates to collaborate with those people that report up to them, the boots on the street people. That's the key, I think, to a lot of leadership success, is listening to the people who are actually out there on the streets every day doing a job and saving lives.
Working for a city system as large as Pittsburgh is, and we still hear about budgetary concerns today, and I'm sure you had them as well. I'm sure every chief in the city had to work through that maze. What kept you grounded and focused? I mean, I know you had a great team, but is there something that, made you get up for work in the morning with a bounce in your step versus kind of a woe is me attitude?
I think by and large for me, it was the people that I worked with and the people that I worked for. And when I say that, I don't mean, the mayor's office and city council. I mean the people in the field, because I always felt that we worked for them. It was our job to provide them with the tools they needed to be out there in the field and with their out there saving lives, treating people at the worst time in their lives, and so forth. I think that was always one of the most important things to me, was trying to stay connected with the people in the streets.
So you've had some great moments. You've probably had some challenging moments, some sad moments along the way. For Bob McCaughan, Chief of the City, for Bob McCaughan, Vice President of Prehospital Service, is there any one or two things that you could muster up as your proudest moment, something that still today you think about? Glad I was there for that.
Well, there's not a single moment, but I would say there's probably three. But they're all similar in the sense that each one of them gave me the opportunity to grow professionally. So the first one would have been when Glenn Cannon asked me to join the city of Pittsburgh. I was the crew chief at Penn Hills EMS, and he asked me to come down and join Pittsburgh EMS with him, and gave me the opportunity to literally help build that system. And then later, when I had the opportunity to join Highmark when I was recruited there, and had the opportunity to help develop and grow Allegheny Health Network. So those were certainly memorable times. And of course, being a chief of Pittsburgh EMS for 8 years, and the incredible opportunity to be able to guide that service for those years.
Those were a great answer. And Bob, if I'm remembered correctly, were you the first chief of the city's river rescue at that time, or did you come in shortly thereafter?
No, right place at the wrong time, I think. There were a couple incidents with regards to water rescue that didn't go well. And prior to joining the city, I was part of the dive rescue team out in Monroeville 4. And when things went awry in the city, we already established a dive rescue team. But when things went sideways, Glenn said, "Oh, you're a diver. You can put this river rescue thing together." So it wasn't me. It was an incredible group of people that came together under some very challenging circumstances. And together we put together what I thought to be a pretty good program. It still is today.
And if I remember correctly, there was a building in the City River Rescue that went up and looked good, and then it came right back down. And what took its place, Bob?
Your Pirates.
PNC
Park. Right.
Which many may not know, but the city's River Rescue Team resides there. Is that correct?
Right under center field, where you see that green patch of grass up above the field itself.
Where it says Pirates?
Right,
yeah.
And the shrubs around, that's River Rescue Quarters right underneath there.
Yeah, so great stories you've told me about that. So, Bob, if I kind of put you into a corner and said, I've heard you say be a good listener, but in addition to that, is there any words of wisdom that you could tell a young leader coming into this industry?
I really think, for me, it would be to be a good listener. Listen to the people around you. Be willing to reach across the aisle, so to speak, and talk to other EMS leaders. Ask what they've done right, what they've done wrong, lessons learned. I think those would really help grow a new EMS leader into a good one. And not to be afraid to make mistakes. Be willing to take some risks, push the envelope a little bit. I think that was much the history of Pittsburgh EMS, in a way of research and so forth. And we made mistakes along the way, but by the same token, I think a lot of what you see in EMS today is a result of what occurred in Pittsburgh EMS.
So you still stay involved. I know I serve on a couple committees with you, which I'm proud to do, but so I know you're still involved with a lot of things, and you still have your ear to the ground as far as what's happening in EMS. What makes you nervous? What scares you?
Where is EMS going to be in 5, 10, 15 years? And I know our CC4 group has talked about this numerous times. And the recruitment issues, the reimbursement, the funding in general, the salary range. I think it's good in the sense that a lot of those things are now getting the attention that we were hoping for years. But there's certainly a difference in it all getting attention and having it pushed forward. So I think the time is right now for a lot of these things to happen legislatively and otherwise, and for some of the people that rely on EMS from an industry standpoint, I think it's time for some of them to step up and really help move everything forward.
So, curveball question. So, knowing what you know now, would you go back and do it all over again, or would you take a different path?
Absolutely. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I've been blessed both personally and professionally, and when I look back at the career that I had, I am so grateful for what I had and what I was able to do, and the people I met along the way who contributed much to my success, and for which I'll forever be thankful.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Gary.